Hello teachers! Welcome once again to my vlog. This is TeacherNica, and if you are new to my channel, kindly click the subscribe button and the bell button to get notified of my previous and future videos. Without further ado, let's begin with our today's vlog. We are going to talk about NativeCamp and its demo lessons. So currently, there's a lot of teachers who are applying for an online ESL job as for their part-time or even full-time jobs, and demo classes are part of getting into that ESL company. And one of the ESL company that is now common to apply to is NativeCamp. Now I'm going to share with you guys some information about the demo lessons and my tips personally as a NativeCamp teacher. Let's begin with our today's video. So for today's video, let's start first with what are the things that you need to have during your demo lesson. During your demo lesson, you must have the following. First is a clear white background. Okay, aside from clear white background, you need to have your noise cancelling headset, a well-lit room, a noise cancelling headset of course because of the environment, so make sure that your environment is quiet or there's less of a noise. So if you are planning to conduct your demo lesson, it is way better to conduct it late at night or let's say around 9 or 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. because NativeCamp here in the Philippines, if you're going to apply as a Filipino teacher into NativeCamp, the peak hours for demo classes are around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you are going to have your demo, that's the peak hours. So once again, here in NativeCamp, the demo lessons are not, let's say, scheduled. So the moment you are on standby and ready for your demo, you will immediately have your demo lessons. But there's peak hours, of course, where you can conduct immediately your demo lessons. So personally, I advised you to take the 8 to 9 p.m. or 6 to 7. There's times when most of your relatives or your, let's say, your kids or even your husband or anyone around you are asleep, because it's way better, you can focus and less noise. Now, aside from those, let's say you are already prepared with technicalities and yourself, you're already prepared. What about the demo lesson? What should you expect once you have your demo lesson here in NativeCamp? These are the following. So I'm going to chop these topics into 3 because the lesson or the demo lessons are into 3, or it is divided into 3 outlines, and after that I'm going to share with you guys the criteria. So continue watching the video to have more tips regarding your demo lessons here in NativeCamp. Let's start with the things that you need to remember once you have your demo lesson, or the things, let's say, in the demo lesson itself, the textbook itself. These are the following. Remember the lesson outline. It is 3. First, orientation, which is for 5 minutes. Second is the lesson flow, which is for 15 minutes. And third is the feedback, which is 5 minutes or more. So once again, remember that your lesson is only for 25 minutes. Now let's start with the first, which is orientation. Orientation is your 5 or 2 minutes to 5 minutes start of the class. For your orientation, it is your warm-up. Okay, so this is the time you're going to warm up your environment or your, let's say, classroom environment with you and your student. So these are the following things that you need to remember. First is that you need to have greetings. Once you greet your student, make sure that you're smiling. Don't show to your student that you're nervous because it's a demo class. Don't show it in your class. Okay, as much as possible, be professional and remember to smile. Your smile is your key in order to build that rapport with your student. Next, after greeting, like, hi, hello, welcome to my class. Can you hear and see me clearly? That is an audio and visual or audio and video check. Make sure that you do those. And after those technical check, once your students say yes, proceed to your short self-introduction. Once we say short self-introduction, make sure that it is short. No need to tell your student about your educational background, your interest, and so on. No need for that. Okay, just tell your student, unless it's a free talk, of course you need to say that. But if it's not a free conversation, you should have a short self-introduction, like saying what your student should call you. For example, hello, can you see and hear me clearly? Once the student say yes, my name is Nika. You can call me Nika. What's your name? And so on. Okay? No need to force your student to call you teacher. But if it's kids, it's advised also to call you teacher, because mostly in Japan, they call their teachers teachers. Okay? So you can add that if they are students who are kids. But let's say your pretend student is an adult, or the textbook itself is for an adult, then therefore no need to add teacher on your name. Okay? Next, after a short self-introduction, of course you may ask your student, what's your name? Oh, how should I call you? Okay, what should I call you? Rather, what should I call you? So you can call me blah blah blah. Okay, so you can tell that to your student. And afterwards, you can ask your student about your speech rate. When we say speech rate, it is about your speed. Are you speaking too fast? Just okay? Is it too loud, or your voice too loud, or is it too soft for the student to hear your voice? So make sure that you clarify this to your student, because sometimes if we are, let's say, we cannot avoid ourselves sometimes that we talk too fast, that our student cannot let's say catch up with the way we speak, and they cannot catch up also with the things that we say. So make sure that you ask your student first if you're speaking too fast or just okay. Next, the lesson style. So for the lesson style, make sure that you confirm the type of lesson. Okay, so there's always on top of the textbook, like, is it side by side, page, blah blah blah. So state that to your student. Okay, so once the students say yes, that's the correct textbook, then you will start with your part 2, the lesson flow. The lesson flow which is for 15 minutes. So for 15 minutes, you have 3 important colors to remember. The first color is the red color, the blue, and the orange. The red color is for your script. Once again, all the lessons are scripted, but you may have ad-libs. Okay, it's okay for you to have ad-libs in the middle of the lesson or the discussion. If you want to add further information to the student that you think is helpful, then it's okay, but not too much. Okay, so make sure also that there's a lot of talking time with your student. Next, we have the blue color. So for the blue, it is your guide of what to do next and what should you click and do, and etc. Next is the orange color. The orange color, it's very simple, and the student can see this. This is the color, or the only color that the student can see on their side. They can see the orange color because it's the vocabulary or further informations that you may add to them. While the red and the blue are both only seen in the teacher's side. So you cannot ask your student to please read the blue text, or please read the sentence in highlighted in blue or highlighted in red. So you cannot do that. The student will not know what you're talking, or doesn't know what you're talking about, because they only see black and orange and pictures on their side. Okay, Next, after the lesson, okay, so during your lesson, the common question is that, is it okay if I give suggestion or correct my student while having our lesson flow? Well, it's okay. It's fine to correct your student as long as you let the student finish the sentence or the statement that he or she is stating. And then afterwards, you may correct the students. And once you're correcting, make sure that you're typing your correction in the chat box and then send it to the student. In that way, they will know, or they could see or review after the lesson the words or the sentences that they need to work with. Okay? Next is the after the lesson flow. We are going to proceed to the third part, which is the feedback. For feedback, this is 5 or more minutes. So 5 or more minutes. All the minutes that's left after the lesson flow is immediately going to go to the feedback part. So for feedback, I think for me, it's enough for 5 minutes. Based on my experience, I was able to finish at least 3 to 5 minutes during feedback. So if there's 3 to 5 minutes left, then I'm going to do that feedback. But sometimes, based on the blue text, it is advised not to proceed to the review and then continue only to the lesson. Or you can see also in the blue text, it's stated there that after you see that there's only 5 minutes left, proceed immediately to the review. No need to finish the whole lesson. So it depends, okay? So that's how important it is to read the red and the blue texts. And also, of course, the orange one because it's the vocabulary words. Now, let's proceed with the feedback. So I was saying, for feedbacks, this is the review, okay, the review part. First, you need to review the new vocabulary words and the phrases. So once you have your review, remember to repeat the review words or reviewed words and phrases 3 times. So let's say you have pilot. Pilot, say it 3 times. You need to say to the student, pilot, say it 3 times. But you need to say pilot, pilot, pilot. And then the student should also repeat the same way as you did. Pilot, and then repeat the student, pilot, repeat the student, pilot, repeat the student. So something like that, okay? So do that 3 times. Next, practice the mispronouns. So earlier, you practiced the new vocabulary words. Now, after that, you have observed already in the chat box that you have sent this, let's say 2 or 3 words that the students should practice. So if you see that you still have a lot of time, you may pick 3 or 1 or 2, let's say 1 through 3, number of new or let's say vocabulary words that are mispronounced by the student. And then repeat it 3 times again. Next, the sentence. Let's say there's a grammatical error with the sentence of the student, then state the correct sentence. Not the wrong sentence, but the correct sentence. State that sentence and once again, repeat that 3 times. And afterwards, do not forget that once you are reviewing your student, you type that or type those words once again in the chat box, sent to the student. Okay? Do not forget to use the chat box. Next, provide suggestions. Okay, let's say you still have 3 more minutes or 2 more minutes. Provide suggestions. How should a student improve the way they speak, the way they construct their own sentence, which are the best way to enhance their impromptu speaking or the way they interact with foreigners. How should they do this and that? So provide your suggestions or tips in this part. Okay, this is the time that you're going to provide suggestions, tips in order for your student to enhance. And then at the end of the lesson, you only see, let's say, 50 seconds left. Ask for questions, okay? Or 1 minute left. Ask your student if there's any questions, clarifications that your student want to ask you in order for you to meet all the, let's say, the standards of the student. Everything. Meet everything that your student wants and need. Okay, so ask for the question, because sometimes they will ask you questions once you only ask them if they have any questions, because they're a bit shy. So that's very common in terms to Japanese students. Now, after that, say goodbye politely. Again, never ask for 5-star rating. Okay, so compared to other ESL company wherein they ask for 5-star rating, like Akensog, here in NativeCamp, you are not allowed to ask for 5-star rating. Okay? Now, these are the 3 class flow. Again, the orientation, okay, orientation, or let's say the warm-up, orientation/warm-up, the lesson flow, and the feedback, or the, let's say, review. Feedback or review. Those are the 3. Now let's proceed to the criteria. These are the criteria that you need to meet once you had your demo, or once you have your demo. First is the English competency. For English competency, it includes fluency, grammar, pronunciation, and communication skills. So you need to meet those 4 standards in order to have or to ace your English competency. Next, teachability. So letter B, teachability, capable of reaching self-sufficiency with the lesson with a less supervision. So if you are, let's say, you already practiced yourself with the lesson or the textbook, you're already, let's say, familiar with the actual textbook, you're prepared yourself in terms of the lesson itself, you know when to have your ad-libs or when not to have the one, then you can ace your teachability, because again, self-sufficiency with less supervision. So if you add or you have some ad-libs without, or let's say, completely reading the script, it's a good thing. Okay, it's not a problem. Next, professionalism. That's the last criteria, professionalism. Be joyful. Okay, be a communicator in a good way by building rapport with your student. Use chat box constantly in giving suggestion, corrections, and also reviewing your students. Well, these are all of the things that you need to remember for your demo lesson here in NativeCamp. So once again, if you're interested to ask, or let's say ask questions, kindly comment down below in our comment section. And if you're interested in applying here in NativeCamp, I will paste down the description box my link, because of course here in NativeCamp it is very important for you to have someone who referred you here in this company because of the bonus. So if you wanted to, you can click. You can simply click the description box, click the link that I have pasted there, and also for further information, you may message me on Skype. Okay, so I can further assist you with your application. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much, teachers, and see you once again in my next vlog. Have a good day. Bye!